My name is Saj. I'm the CEO of Paradiso Solutions. We accelerate talent transformations in the organizations around the world so organizations can reach their business goals faster. See, change is constant, but many HR leaders and executives, they come to us and say, we're not able to create the change we want, our transformation initiatives are not very successful. But I tell them that your employees, your family, you, the world, the organization you run, your customers, they're changing constantly. It's just that either you don't notice it because the changes are gradual, or these are not the changes you want. So I tell this story that I was in San Francisco for many years. I lived there, and every Saturday I will go to this restaurant called Delancey Street Restaurant, and it was run by a foundation. So the interesting thing about this restaurant, that all the staff there were ex-convicts, ex-criminals, and they were the waiters, the front desk staff, the kitchen staff, everybody was at some point in the jail because they were convicted criminals. So this foundation was able to take these criminals and convert them into working middle class people. And since I was going there so often, I get to know a lot of these people in person, and they were the most amazing, helpful, nice people you will ever meet. So how did this transformation happen? And many of the organizations are not able to even change the seating arrangement of their employees because they're getting so much pushback. So how do you transform your culture, your organization, so you can reach your business goals or whatever goals you have faster? See, Paradiso has worked with hundreds of organizations around the world in manufacturing, in IT, in healthcare, many non-profits, in education sectors, working with governments and NGOs. While working with hundreds of organizations and our own research, what we realize is that we can convert this whole chaos of change into 4 simple, proven steps. So the step 1 is connect. So most of the organizations, their employees, look at other employees as a means to an end. The executives or middle management or the lower rank employees, everybody look at their co-workers as objects which can help you reach your goal, your results. It may sound kind of harsh to say this, but this is the reality. Most people with their co-workers or with their managers or with their executives, there is not a real human connection. We don't look at other employees or other people as human beings. We look at them as object. And when you're talking to, let's say, a family member on mobile phone, and if the connection is not good, your message doesn't go through, or only part of the message goes through. But when the connection is good, the network connection is good, then the message goes through easily. They can understand you. So unless you have this connection, your message cannot be understood and the change will not happen. So you need this human level connections. And when I was talking to Delancey Street Foundation, the earlier example I gave, and when I was talking to the staff there, they said that the number one thing they did with these ex-convicts, ex-criminals, is to create that human bond, human connection. Nothing happens unless you have this heart-to-heart connection. The way to the mind is through the heart. And you may say that these are all hippie kind of words. How do I get hard, real results in my business if I'm so soft? So companies like Google, Tesla, and many of the successful companies have been able to transform their culture and be able to get result year after year and still have that amazing culture. So just because you have human connection does not mean you cannot have hard goals and hard deadlines and go after the results. So this is not either or, this is not a zero-sum game. But unless you see the other person as human being, unless you connect them on that level, nothing is going to work. No change initiative is going to work. And that's why most of your change initiatives become event, a stage show, which managers are talking about, and the employees, as soon as they leave that stage show, they say, what a bullshit, right? So we all know that that's what happens on bottom up. That's what happens on the day-to-day work. But we still keep doing the change initiatives where the connection is completely shut down. You need to have the pathways open to be able to communicate, to connect. And that starts with this fundamental attitude from executive all the way to your co-workers, where you treat other human beings as human beings and not just objects. So another example I gave is, if you multiply 0 with 0, you get 0. You multiply 0 with 100, you still get 0, right? So 0 is this your mindset. So unless the mindset changes, unless the human connection happens, no matter how many messages you communicate, how many change initiatives you create, they are just band-aid. They will never create a lasting organizational change in your organization. So that's your step number 1, create connections. Step 2 is to communicate. So once you have built that connection, now your message can reach the employees. And by communicate, I mean get your message clearly across the organization. And organization is more diverse than you think. There are people who are more committed, less committed. Some understand your vision, some don't understand your vision. Some are junior, some are senior, some have been there for years, some are new. So there is so much diversity in your organization that you need to find different ways and different means to communicate the same message over and over again. So the number 1 job of a leader is to create a vision and communicate that vision. And that communication needs to happen clearly. So your employees need to get a clarity on where you as a leader, whether you're an HR leader, a manager, or executive, or the CEO, you need to clarify the entire organization where you want them to go. It's a simple concept, but this is the single most important job of a leader, is to communicate the vision. And you over-communicate it, you over-communicate it, you over-communicate it, you repeat it, you repeat it, you repeat it. Because as I said, everybody is at different stage. Some people get the message, some don't, and you will not hurt yourself by repeating the message and over communicating the message. So that's your second step, communicate. Step 3 is convert. So this is the step when you start to see the changes in the mindset of your employees. You're trying to change the DNA of the organization. You're trying to change the culture of your organization. And by organization, I mean people. And by people, I mean organization. Because people in organization are the two sides of the same coin. So by changing the organization, you change the people. By changing the people, you change the organization. So what do I mean by this convert? Many years ago, I got hooked on tennis. I was playing with some friends and I kept playing every weekend. And at some point I started getting more serious. I took some private lessons and started practicing more and more. And one day I decided, I really like this. I want to get better at it. I want to start competing in local tournament. I wasn't anywhere ready. But the fact that day I changed my identity from a social, fun, activity tennis player to a player who wants to compete. And overnight, my game changed. My diet changed, my exercise changed, my routine changed. Because instead of being tennis just an activity, my identity was I am a tennis player and I want to compete. So in this step, your organization, your people's identity will start to shift. There was an automobile company we were working with, one of the biggest manufacturer of automobile in India, and they wanted to transform themselves into an electrical vehicle company. And that transformation they wanted to do from marketing, sales, all the way to R&D. So when they reached this step 3 in our process, then their people had this mind shift that they are becoming an electrical vehicle company. They were not there. They haven't even launched their first product, but their mind has shifted. So the executives need to understand that first you get the mind share of your employees, mind share of your customers, and then you get the market share. So the convert step is when your people start to believe in their new identity, believe in the transformation, and it starts to become part of your culture. So it becomes a continuous learning process and not an event, not a seminar you took for weekend, not an executive off-site meeting. But now at step 3, you have converted the mindset of people and the organization. So the 4th C is called clone. So once you have some of these people who you have converted, whose beliefs, whose behavior, whose mindset has changed in your organization, then these people itself become change agent and they spread your change. Then they start the cycle of connecting, communicating, converting. So you were the leader, you got some followers. Now these followers become leader so they can have more followers. And these followers again become leaders. So it becomes this continuous cycle. It's almost like a ripple effect or a domino effect where one follower becoming another leader, and that leader again creating more followers, so on and so on. So this is how you create like a tsunami of change or a movement within your organization. Once you analyze which departments or which group of people have this change transform their behavior, then and which people hasn't been impacted as much, then you can selectively look at those group of people where your message hasn't reached yet, and then seed some of the leaders there so they start cross-pollinating that group of people. And this is how you get the entire organization to change. So what are the transformation you want to accelerate in your organization? Let's have a no obligation chat and see what are your initiatives, what are your challenges in transformation. We have worked with hundreds of organizations around the world and accelerated their transformation so they were able to reach their business goals faster.